Welcome back to Freedom Ticket Walmart. In this video, we're going to talk about setting up your account once you get accepted to sell on Walmart.com. The first thing that you're going to need to do once you actually get accepted is you're going to go through an entire registration process. So we're going to talk about all the ins and outs of that so that you have everything that you need to fill that out properly. We're also going to talk about Walmart fulfillment services, Walmart Connect, and the brand portal, and we'll go more into details in a minute about those. And then last but not least, we are going to also show you how to set up your shipping templates, which are really important so that you get the right shipping templates all set up for your products. And here I have today with me David from Sellcord, and he is an expert at setting up accounts, so he's going to go into detail about how to set up your account. So David, when someone gets accepted to Walmart to sell on Walmart.com, what are some things that they should have prepared for that whole process? Because I know when I was filling it out, there was a lot to fill out and it was kind of confusing, what I should put in different portions. So what are some items people should just have already prepared so that they can just fly through this process?
When you first get access to your Walmart Seller Center profile, there will be an onboarding checklist that needs to be completed. Most of this is under settings, which is your partner profile. And you'll see in an onboarding account, you'll see like a little exclamation point with a yellow circle just indicating what needs to be filled out. So this account, as you can see, is already active and everything. We already have live listings, but we'll just go through the different steps over here that are required for onboarding.
So just to clarify for everyone, there is a different screen that pops up when you're onboarding it. It doesn't look like this, but these are the same components that are in there.
Exactly. Okay. So we'll start first with the under profile, partner profile, the company information. Now, just something to note about this is there are fantastic Walmart guides for almost everything. And obviously these videos, we try to be as informative as possible and go through all the different aspects of Walmart, but there's way more to Walmart than we could even fit in any video series. So please always reference their knowledge base. It's great. You could always just hit help and visit partner help. And as you can see over here, this is just a little look at their knowledge base. It's really great, really informative SOPs. Always like pretty good searching over here. There's some great stuff you could do over here. I highly suggest always coming here to check on the different articles that they have here if you ever have any questions or you're stuck. And if this doesn't work, always reach out to their customer support. They're pretty good with helping out when needed. Their live chat representatives are quite good. So we are going over the partner profile, so I just have this pulled up here next to us. We could just briefly see the different sections as a company information we're looking at right now, customer service, managed contacts, shipping profile, returns, privacy policy, as well as taxes. So these are all the different steps to the partner profile. And here it could just have some information, but we'll still go through it in Seller Center of how we suggest going through this. So
yeah, those guides are really helpful for if you have a question, you can always just refer to them. I'm really impressed with the guides. So
yeah, some good stuff. Okay, so the first thing we have over here is the partner profile, which on the partner profile is the company information. So you have your display name, which is your name that you will display to your customers. So when you are selling your product on the buy box, it'll show you beneath sold by. How cool is that, right? So that is what's displayed there. Then you could also have your logo. So in addition to that, if somebody were to click on how cool is that, it will take you to a little partner, like just a company information page. It'll show you like who the seller is. It'll show you the name of your company, a logo if you put that in there, as well as your company description, and then some of your listings. You're not currently able to see all listings sold by a single account, but this is just where you would have that information. So after the display name, the next thing you want to do is enter a logo. Although it's an optional field, it's highly recommended just to increase your awareness for your brand. Go ahead and select an image from your computer and upload it. It could be either a PNG or a JPEG file. The next thing we have over here is the company description. Here's where you could speak a little bit about your company, a little bit more information about you. Walmart does not allow you to have links to outside web pages, so just keep that in mind. Just something to note in the guides, this is an overview, and you can see individually the company information has its own guide which goes a little bit even more in depth about it. So you can see over there a little bit more of the restrictions that come with this. So here we have display name, logo, description, and here it says 4,000 characters max, and don't include URLs or links to other websites. So that's very important that you don't do that, because Walmart wants to keep your customers on Walmart. Okay, the next section we have over here is customer service. Now, obviously, as any marketplace, you do have your own customer service portal over here in Messages, where you do need to communicate with any buyers that are having any issues. But as a note, you do need to have a customer service just policy over here. We highly just suggest saying, hey, we're always available. Please email us at this if you have any questions. And here's our phone number to contact us. You can see over here. This is a great example over here. We are available 24/7. Fastest, just go ahead and send this email to here, and here's a phone number. So just some brief way, a really easy way that your customers have a way to be able to contact you if they do have any questions about the product.
Question, so you can use your actual company email in that section, right?
Right.
Okay.
Correct. That is a good point. The next section we have over here is manage contacts. And there are actually two different sections to this. There's a top part, which is the WFS exclusive section, which only becomes available once you have applied and been accepted to WFS. And beneath that, we have all these different contact points for each individual different section that Walmart has categorized as having its own representative that would be needed. So what we'll be doing is going through each one of these little sections over here and discussing what it means and who we suggest having as the contact. So the first thing over here we'll just start from the bottom and just go up. We have the partner performance contact. So this is if you have any issues with like post-order fulfillment, marketplace alarms, really performance of the account. Very important, you want to be on top of this. If there are any issues, you do want to get to this immediately, because performance could result, if you have bad performance, it could result in a suspended account and even termination. So you definitely want to have a very important contact here that will be on top of this email to make sure this gets resolved. Then we have the shipping fulfillment contact over here. So this is anything that has to do with like shipping information for your listings. Pretty straightforward. I mean, you're probably not going to get too many emails regarding this, but just something you should have over here.
Can you add more than one contact per section?
Yes, of course. You could have different contacts added. You can have multiple contacts added for each section over here. By default, you are required to have at least one. If you'd like to add an additional one, just go ahead and click add contact, and you can just enter in your information over here and just go ahead and save that contact. You can also go ahead and edit the existing contact information, but you're not able to change the email address. So if you want to add a new contact, this is what is called the primary contact. So the first contact that you add in becomes what's called a primary contact, and you could have issues, let's say, removing this contact and adding a new one. So just be aware of this, that you do want to get this information correct. If you do have any issues removing your primary contact, just always go ahead and open up a case with Walmart to help you out with getting that resolved.
Okay, so you might want to just put someone who's like more permanent in your company as the primary contact.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's a great call. Now, let's continue going through these, and I'm going to show you some cool tips and tricks of how to use this page a little bit more efficiently. So the next thing we have over here is the item content. So you'll get an occasional email from a content team on Walmart, broken down by, let's say, departments. So you'll get, let's say, the beauty contact team will reach out to you and be like, hey, here your listing, we noticed that X is wrong. And they'll actually send you a spreadsheet with the details of your listing, and they'll indicate what's wrong. Sometimes it's missing an image. Sometimes the image is not good. The title, random something like a weight or something, just some little information here and there. They'll email you. They'll typically send you a follow-up. They're honestly not the greatest to communicate with. Like if you try to email them back, I haven't really had great responses back and forth. And even when I've sent them, they won't really confirm that it was done. It's just something that they'll do just to get you to have the right content information on your listing. But you could even technically ignore it and just go into your listing itself and just make any changes that they are requesting, and you should be fine with that. All right, the next thing over here, we have the customer service contact. Very important over here. You do need to have this information filled out and someone that could really take care of this, because you need to make sure that your customers are satisfied. If someone's trying to reach out to you and they're not getting their responses, you're going to get a bad review, which could be quite detrimental for you. You definitely don't want to have too many just bad interactions with your customers. That's just not good for performance. Next, we have over here the business management contact. So this is going to be related to account management, performance, just sales growth. So you'll typically see like a lot of promotions from Walmart will be sent along the lines with the business management contact to that email. but they will like reach out if you have any specifics regarding let's say account management or just performance. And the final one over here we have is the integration technical contact. So this is if there's anything regarding the API or bulk uploads. And again, a lot of these contacts are used for like promotional emails from Walmart, or if there's, let's say, a new feature that they're adding out, so they'll just send that over to the email associated with that side of things. So, and then on top over here we do have the 3 different WFS sections. We have the warehouse manager, which is if you do have any issues with, let's say, what you sent into WFS, they need to do disposal order, or if there's just damaged items. So this is very important. You need to have this filled out. Content manager, similar to the content below here, item content. So this is this does speak to like assortment management and item setup, but it's fairly standard. Like they'll just reach out if they do have any questions. And these are honestly probably where you'll see the most communication with Walmart. Like they'll reach because it's such a classic situation. You'll send something in, you need the UPC is incorrect or something is damaged, so you'll have a lot of communication with that team, and they're very good with responses. In general, WFS communication is top notch. Very, very good communication with them. And then we have finally WFS account manager contact. So this is pretty much everything WFS related, like oversees everything. So have that filled out as well. So just some little tips over here on how to like get this filled out a little quicker is, let's say you're running your business yourself, you're going to be the main point of contact. You don't want to have to sit there and click 10 different times and go through all these different contacts to add your information. So what you can do instead is if you add yourself one time, if you click this little duplicate option, it does have the ability to pretty much copy your information over to any of the other sections. Go ahead and you could you also have to fill out just a customer service escalation email. That is, if you're doing customer service, that is just one additional required field. Go ahead and duplicate contact, give it a second to load, and as you can see now my 3 WFS contact fields have been filled out with this information. So that really saves some time over there, especially if you're doing everything yourself. It makes things a little bit easier. Before we head off here, just always note there is the Manage Contacts guide over here that if you want to just learn a little bit more in depth about this, feel free to take a look at this guide, and it will kind of go a little bit more in depth for each one of these fields and different contacts and what they mean. Okay, so the next section is shipping profile, but this is actually an outdated section, which is currently shipping templates, which we will be discussing later in this video. Okay, so the next section we're going to talk about is returns. So if you do have WFS enabled, you will see two options on the top: seller fulfilled and Walmart fulfilled returns. And let's go through all these different settings and what they do. These do play a significant role, and you need to have this filled out accurately so that your operations are set up correctly. So right off the bat, we have general return settings. This is just a thing you need to, as you can see, it's grayed out. There's no option to uncheck this. This is something when you first get your account, you just go ahead and agree, and you accept the terms of service. This is just different things you need to do to be approved. And it's just confirming that you will process the refunds for within 48 hours of receiving returned items. So that's through the return section over here when you do end up getting returns.
So that doesn't matter if it's business days or weekends, does it? It has to be processed on the weekend even?
48 hours.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be like really crazy on top of you, but it is important to check it. Now, obviously, receiving returned items, if you're not working on the weekend, you didn't technically receive it until you got back, so that should be fine. The next thing we have over here is label printing. So Walmart will, by default, allow you to do their own return labels at a competitive rate. So you could go ahead and click rates over here. I'll show you what pricing they provide for their items. And if you do, however, have let's say a really good account with FedEx or UPS, or just for whatever reason you'd like to do with your own account, you could go ahead and add a carrier account and add your information over here.
Most of the time, Walmart's rates are probably going to be the best, though, don't you think?
Yeah, we suggest typically using Walmart rates unless you have a really big account.
I actually talked to somebody who didn't know that you could use the Walmart rates and was paying lots for different returns and even shipping products in. So I think it's a good point that people know that they can use Walmart. For sure.
I think that's a great point. All right, the next thing we have over here is the return center. So You could have multiple different return centers if you have multiple different warehouses. Let's say you want to have just cheaper. If you are using your own carrier rates, you want to just have different locations, make things a little bit easier. You should probably name this correctly so that when the return is coming back to you, you do know what you are getting. All right, next thing we have over here is the return policy. And this is what you need to have this actually written out. You could view an example, which is really nice to give you this information over here. Return within 30 days, return to store no, this return policy. So you could just make some like very brief notes over here of what you want to put into your return policy. And it is important that most importantly, you need to have the return window. So let's talk a little bit about the items return window over here. You have a minimum of 30 days, which is required to have as a return window. You could increase that if you want to. Walmart likes to suggest that you increase it to entice buyers to have them a little bit more time to return their product to you. If your product is WFS, just something to note, you are subject to Walmart's return policy, which is 90 days. So no matter what you have that 90-day policy. But for your own items, you can have that 30-day policy or change it to a little bit more. So there are actually a few exceptions to this 30-day policy where you could go as low as 15 days. And it's all detailed here in this return policy. You have the return window here on top, and you could actually see these items, computers, all like tech stuff. You could go as low as 15 days from the delivery. So, and just something to note regarding the return window. Again, over here, great article from Walmart. You do have the return window. It's always 7 days from the item's ship date. So 30 days plus that 7. So as you can see here, if you shipped on December 1st, 7 plus 30 is going to be January 6th. And similarly for 15 days, they have those nicely both laid out over there. So it's just important to note that information over here. Just mention your company's policy. And then we have over here the return rules below, where you can actually add in that different policy that you have. So if you want to, here it just shows by all, we have a 30-day across the board. You could always go ahead and just edit that to increase it, or you could add specifically by a department how many days you want to have that. So the next section we have over here is the keeper rules, and this is, in many scenarios, it's not cost effective to have the customer return the product, but rather they should just keep it because let's say the cost of goods is less than the return shipping cost. So you go ahead and set it up that if you want to add a keeper rule over here, you just go ahead and add a keeper rule, and you can set it up by department, or if you don't want to do that, you could just do all. And we have over here, there's two different sections over here. The item price limit is how much the individual item could cost. So let's say your item's $15 and let's say your cost of goods is $2, but your return is going to be $4. It's not worth it. You just go ahead and put, let's say, anything under $15. I know that's going to be from cheaper products. And then we also have a return order limit. That's if, let's say, the order purchased multiple of the same product over here. You don't want them just to be able to return, let's say they buy 10 of this product for $15. Just want to go ahead and do that return. So you can limit it to how much the total order is that they're able to do it. And there's even a strategy to just limiting it to, let's say, 1, because let's say if they return 2 items, it's already worthwhile for you. So you could even keep like even $15 for each. So the max is just 1 of your products. So if they order 2 of your products, at that point it might even be better to just have them return it. Or maybe let's say it takes 3 products to get to there, so you want to put in $45, whatever it is. You should have a good idea of your cost of goods to your order, to your price, so you can have a good idea of when you want to, like how much you want to allow over here. So let's go ahead and maybe let's put like $35 to see that maybe like anything above that, it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah, for you to get those items back. Yeah.
Yeah, so we go, it's nicely filled out over here. You can always go ahead and edit it, delete it. And just so that there's another strategy you could use over here is the partial keep it rules. So this is rather than just having them not return the product and just get the full item for free. You do have a partial keep it rule, which you could set a percentage off. So when a customer wants to go ahead and request a refund, you could actually go ahead and say, hey, instead of refunding you for the full product, why don't you keep it? And you can give a discount of up to 50%, and you can even put in a max amount of how much you're willing to give as a discount. Now,
does this work best when people they say, oh, I found it, they want to return it, and they say, oh, I found it for cheaper? This is good for that kind of scenario.
So you actually that's a great point, because you can actually set which scenarios you want to have this rule work for. So you could set it up if you want. Let's say you have a lower price as you're suggesting over here. Oh, sure, you found lower price, no problem. I'll do a lower price and I'll match it up to whatever the refund amount or max amount. You could even set it up individually by each different return reason to have a different option here. So if they bought another size or color, you could offer them that, arrive late, inadequate quality, really any of these reasons over here. Now, these aren't all the return reasons. There are other return reasons that are not here. Just off the top of my head, like damaged is one of them that is not listed over here, and that pretty much makes sense because they might just want to return the product altogether. Although I could see a scenario where the product itself is damaged, but maybe at a 50% discount, it's worthwhile to have. So you can just go ahead and use, let's say, shipping box damage, something similar to that, just to have it trigger this partial keeper rule. And then the final thing we have over here is the replacement by department. So if you want to have a replacement enabled, this is another method that you can use to work with your returns. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and add a replacement rule, just go ahead over here, select the department, and let's say all your animal food, you could will offer replacements. So you just go ahead and hit yes and add a replacement rule specifically for your animal food. You'll be able to, if they want to go ahead and do that refund, you do have that option to just go ahead and send that replacement instead. All right, so that pretty much covers all of the returns. The next thing we have over here is the privacy policy. So everything is subject to Walmart's privacy policy. Obviously, you are selling on their platform, but if you do have an additional information about your company, you can just go ahead and very briefly, your information is not shared outside the company, just whatever information you'd like to just relay to your customers. And the final section over here is taxes. So I suggest just stick to the defaults that they're going to have over here, unless you have like some strange setup where you need to have like special sales tax. Just stick to the basics. It does say obviously collected in 47 states automatically over here, and just provide that list. But you could also go ahead and select for these other states, whether it be the U.S. territories, or just the 3 states that are, or for a few states that are not subject to this. So then there's additionally shipping sales tax codes over here that you are taxed for different shipping methods. And I just suggest, there's a great policy, a great article over here, partner profile taxes, if you want to just learn about the intricacies of this. If most of you guys are just going to have the defaults, I wouldn't mess with it. But if you do have some different setup for your, let's say you have different exemptions for your different tax policies, go ahead and take a look at this and really make sure that you're set up properly. And then there is a sales tax policy, just very standard, that taxes are collected. All right, so that covers all of the partner profile, different tabs over here that need to be filled out for when you have a new account. So just go ahead and make sure all these are filled out, and the next step is to get those items set up, and you're good to go.